Hey everyone, this is Black17 here, and today we'll be showcasing our DBL Week 3 battle up against Sam of the Sandvale Dodgers. So, looking at his team, he didn't bring like a Tapu Fini, so we won't see any Mrs. Terrain shenanigans. So we could see some status options up on the side. I'm very interested to see that he has all three of his potential megas in Minitrick, Latios, and Scizor. But given that Minitrick, and I honestly don't know what Mega he has. It could be either Minitrick or Scizor, to be honest, because Latios is good in and of itself, and Scizor is like kind of good as well. It's like Minitrick is like the only one that's kind of like okay, it might have like it might be the Mega, but like Lightning Rod, and he might just keep that around just to like make Zapdos useless. So yeah, um, I'm but as likewise, this game is going to be very interesting. So, in terms of leads, oh yeah, one last thing. If for those of you who want to look into the Teambuilder, I'll provide that in the description so you guys see what I'm bringing and what I prep for and all the stuff that I thought of. So, that like all the wacky ideas that like all of this. Well, I'm not going to go into that. I think you guys get the idea. So yeah, just go watch the video. So looking at his team, he has a very threatening squad. And I don't know I don't know which of his mons is the mega, which is like he's doing the same thing I am. So guess which mega I am. So he doesn't know I'm Mega Metagross. So I'm thinking he's probably Scarf Crocodile or Ground EMZ Crocodile. So Ninetales probably like Focus Sash. Scizor is either Mega Scizor or like some kind of support Scizor. Rotom again support with Wisp for sure. Minitrick will have to be some kind of fast offensive mon. It could be. It's a good possibility if I had to say is that's the Mega. Latios could be the strong offensive mon. That's actually good against like Hail. I mean, against my weather mode. So, looking at his team, this is a very interesting matchup because I don't know what he's going to lead towards, and I decided, you know what, let's just go with our original lead and just go with Gengar Zapdos because if I set up Tailwind, he's not going to have anything for Life Orb Gengar, and Gengar can start picking off things. So yeah, we're going with our leads. We lead off with Zapdos and the Gengar, as he leads off with the Crocodile and the Rotom. So already, it's a very interesting lead choice on both of our ends. So the fact that he led with Crocodile and Rotom makes me suspicious on whether Crocodile is Scarf. Like, he could just go for Scarf Rock Slide or Earthquake, even go for Knockoff, or get like a cheeky like Ground EMZ kill on Gengar. So I decide I'm just going to play it safe and go for the Protect and the Tailwind. He also protects with his Crocodile. I go for Tailwind. And here he reveals Electro Wave. I'm like, whoa. That's an interesting strategy. I haven't seen Electro Wave Rotom since like VGC 15, so wow, it's been a while. So, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, he doesn't know that I have Energy Ball, so I might as well just go for it. So I go for the Energy Ball, and I just cleanly knock it out. I don't know if it could matter because Energy Ball with Life Orb plus Heat Wave takes out both Crocodile variants, unless he's like out AB. He gets me with the Electro Wave, so Zapdos at neutral, and Gengar is at like -1, even though Tailwind's gonna help me out. So I do disable his Electro Web with the Curse Body, and that's huge. So, and he reveals that he is leftovers, so he sends in Ninetales at this point after he's switching. So here I'm gonna say something that I'm gonna say. I really regret this turn, like thinking back, because I honestly should have just went for the offense here and just went for the Sludge Bomb onto the Ninetales. But for some reason, I thought this thing might be Scarfed and might outspeed me. And I'm like, and I didn't want to do the speed calcs for like for a minus because I know but now that I figured it out, I think I would have outsped. But at the time, I was like my main concern was like getting frozen with Zapdos or Gengar or like having Ninetales. No. forget the frozen thing. My main concern was him setting up Aurora Veil and him being like letting his Ninetales go down, but like so and me like letting my Gengar go down, so for no reason. So like in hindsight, I should have just sludge bombed his Ninetales, but instead I switched out to Politoed. But as you're about to see, I made the incorrect play. I'm gonna say this is incorrect to go into Politoed and just also stay in with Zapdos because Zapdos isn't doing anything. And I go for Heat Wave here, and this is like a very poor play on my end because you're going for Heat Wave and Diarrhea, and you're not gonna. It's like kind of shooting for like. It's kind of shooting. It's kind of like shooting a fish in a barrel. It's like you're not getting anything out of it. You see, I should have just went for that play because not only I thought, and Sludge Bomb has a high chance to KO Manectric, and then with the factoring in the burn, the poison, or the fact that he ever switches in with Ninetales again, with Hail, it dies. So that was a really bad play, man. So yeah, and I just let this Manectric get a lightning rod boost. I feel like that was intentional because he wanted to get that boost for Manectric. So now I'm very scared about this Manectric. He's boosted, and it's ready to go. And I need to protect Politoed to disrupt the hail. So I don't want him to set up a Aurora Veil at all. He goes for hidden power. It doesn't do much. I roost off the damage from that, and he goes for Thunderbolt. And I'm like very surprised, curious why he didn't go for the Thunder for like for the Hydro Pump. But then again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here he reveals Snarl, and I'm like, oh god, that's really bad. Because he's gonna reduce my attacks for all my mons, and I'm not doing jack shit against Rotom here. So here I decided to go for Follow Me, in case he goes for Thunderbolt onto Zapdos, so that I can go for the Roost. And he goes for Wisp here, and that's cool. Oh, I lied. I go for Tailwind. So, but as you see, I'm not getting anywhere out of this. It's like I'm kind of like, you see what I mean about that Gengar play? I should have just went for it. Like, yes, I'm about to eat my Agua Berry, I know that, but I'm just gonna go spend another 2 minutes while I should have just Sludge Bomb that Manectric. Sludge Bombing Manectric meant it would have died at some point. But I didn't, so we gotta focus on what's happening now, so. I get my Agua Berry because he activates it. I get too low and I activate it. I go for Roost. I'm back to full health. Back in the game. So Zapdos isn't doing crap. Just notice minus like 4, minus 4, well, minus 3, minus 3. So here I decide, okay, I gotta get in my rain mode. I gotta start doing damage, and I have Tailwind, so I don't care about if he goes for Electro Web. I actually predict that very nicely. He goes for HVIs, but he goes for Thunderbolt instead. I'm like, great, he got me there. So I should have honestly should have targeted Manectric. But I just go for Dragon Pulse, and it doesn't kill. And I'm kind of regretting now not putting Draco Meteor onto the Kingdra, because that would have definitely, Draco Meteor, helping out Draco Meteor specs, definitely outgoes any good variant Rotom unless it's like super specially defensive. And now you'll see Kingdra goes down with the combination of Electro Webs plus HV Ice. So I'm like, great, I lost one of my heavy hitters, and this game is looking grim. I get him back into Zapdos. I protect my Politoed, and he's going for Snarls here, and I'm like, oh great, we're gonna do this all over again. And already this game is already looking really bad. And he can reveal his Pain Spit. I'm like, oh great, that's great. That's beautiful. Rotom's gonna help. I have Snarl. He's snarling me down. This is bad. He's making my mons weaker, and I'm like, well, I gotta go for this burn here, and I get the burn. And I don't know if that's going to matter long term, or is it, but whatever. So, he goes for Electro Wave again. I'm like, he's rendering my Tailwind useless for my mons. It's like, kind of like canceling it out now. So here I'm deciding, you know what, I'm going to go into my Mega Murder, protect the Politoed, because I don't want Ninetales setting up a Aurora Veil. And he goes for Volt Switch. I'm very curious of that play, because, like, he had a +1 Manectric that could just destroy my entire team. I don't know about that. It's one of those breaks I needed. So Manectric's out of the way. I go for Heat Wave. doesn't do much damage to the Scizor, and I'm like, oh great. He burns my Zapdos. I'm like, okay, well at least Zapdos is still around. It's like kind of useless, but not whatever. So I decided, you know what? I'm tired of this Rotom, so I'm like, I gotta get rid of it. But Rotom survives, and I'm like, no, no. And Electro Wave is like, he sets up an Electro Wave. And I'm like, oh great. And he goes for Sword Stance. Now I'm not gonna lie, I don't agree with that Sword Stance because he should have just straight up killed my Gengar because I was already at low HP. I think Bullet Punch would have killed me off either way. So him getting off, me getting off that damage was very important because it's gonna you're about to see like the Sword Stance. Scissor's not gonna do anything a following turn. Well, honestly, you'll see. He should have just Bullet Punched me turn 1, especially if he had like Life Orb as well. So, but now that I have this damage on him and the Rotom, I'm like, all right, that's cool. So, that's cool because my only Mon left is Metagross, and his entire team looks very weakened now. So, and I have to pull off a Miracle if I want to like win with Metagross. So, and everything weakened for Metagross attacks is really good. So my first objective is to kill the Scizor and the Rotom. So, but as you're about to see the following turn, this is gonna turn out really like nicely. He switched out Scizor. I'm like, what the hell? And he tries to intimidate me, but he realizes that I have Clear Body, so I'm immune to that for that one turn, initial turn, and I go for Heat Wave, and I knock him out for burn damage, and I guess that's what Showdown does. It's helping. Showdown's kind of helping me out, so yeah. Now he has Ninetales and Latios here. I'm like, wait a minute, is this a winnable game? And I'm like, I don't know, but I go for Ice Punch here onto the Latios. Zapdos finally dies to Freeze Dry, and I'm like, okay, I might as well just like go for it. Metagross is gonna have to speedrun this somehow, so I protect with Politoed just to scout out the damage. Honestly, should have just attacked. Now that I think about it, like I should have just attacked with that plus this because with Skull plus Zen Headbutt. But I was kind of worried that if I missed, I would have been in a pretty bad spot. So he goes for Protect when Latios, and okay, a lot happened on that turn. So as you see, protects. I go for Sand Headbutt. Like, he targets me down here, which is kind of a bad play, but on my end, but still. I want to explain this turn. Here, I thought he's gonna definitely switch out to Scizor, one of his targets, and I'm thinking, okay, if I can get Scizor in somehow, if I could target the right Scizor slot, then or the right incoming Scizor slot, because Ninetales is weak. It wants to set up Hail, he can. Latios is extremely weak, and it's very likely he will switch out. But, given how he's protecting a lot, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to get rid of this Ninetales, because it's like the biggest threat to my team, and Latios is at -5, so it's not doing anything at all, so I target Ninetales with Power Up Punch. Now, I don't have a Steel move on the Metagross, but the Power Up Punch is from that range will definitely knock out. So I get the incoming Scizor slot, and now I can definitely knock out the Latios with Ice Punch now. So at this point, I decided to protect with Politoed, and I knock out the Latios, and it looks like we just managed to pull this one out of from the depths, and that's like, whoa, we just won. So, okay, I gotta slow down here. So pretty much what happened was, long story short, I was able to put myself in a good position to where like Metagross was able to probably solo his entire team because he got the kills on Rotom, Ninetales, Latios, and Scizor on the incoming switch. And honestly, I'm very surprised that he didn't target down Metagross, even with his resisted hits, since like Metagross was just it was just the only thing left that's just threatening him, like my only major offensive threat, and he's just honestly, given all the protects I was going with Politoed, I was just like, you'll see that Politoed's not doing crap, so um. Metagross getting 4 kills there in the end, it was really huge, especially with the fact that like Crocodile and Manectric went down, and like Rotom was the only thing like left that could take it on, and then like even then Rotom just died to a Zen headbutt. But like that was like very very critical because like had Rotom not died, I think we would have and he got the put the potential Wisp on me. Then I think this game would have been a lost cause. But the fact that Metagross got in for free, and it was able to go wreck House, and like just like pick off everything on his team. I know it's kind of questionable not having a steel move like Bullet Punch on Ninetales, but I felt like Power Punch was the better alternative in case he had like a setup option with Tapu Fini, and that I needed to like, or like some Mega Scizor, and I needed a way to boost up, also to like mitigate like the Intimidate. So that was like the reason why I have it. So yeah, I'm very surprised we took game 1 because like, given all the shenanigans that happened that game, like I'm gonna go back in the same point. I should have just sludge bombed the incoming the Manectric, which was then the Ninetales, because that would have been like amazing. I had a good chance to knock it out as I later calculated it's like around a 90% chance, but with the burn and with the hail, potential hail, and no, all I needed was like damage really, just to take out the Manectric, and I was solid. So, and then from there, like my Rainbow would have just easily punched hole, or like could have easily like punched the holes, because he doesn't have a fast like Pokemon with Snarl. So yeah, but I'm not taking it away anything from my opponent here, because he was able to put me in a. He really prepped very well for this first game, for the series, but it's not over yet. We still have like one. Have to cut that. All right, I may have to cut that out. So, all right, so game 2. Game 2. All I'm gonna say is that. All right, game 2. So, all I'm gonna say is that this is gonna be extremely. This is like just based off the first game. This is gonna be a very difficult game, like series, because this can go either way. Like it could really go either way, and I'm just like thinking to myself, okay, do I go with the same lead, or do I go with like my rain mode finally, or just go with Metagross like Magma, or just start setting up and power punch and shit. I figured my best lead was still my Zapdos Gengar, because Gengar puts a lot of pressure on his team for early on, especially with Zapdos, because Zapdos just like can just heat wave anything, like get chip damage for Gengar to like for Gengars to pick off another attack, since like Shadow Ball and Life Orb Shadow Ball and Life Orb like Energy Ball gets the KO on Crocodile and Latios, also Manectric, and with plus Heat Wave, and it also with Heat Wave even though it's kind of a resistant or just a neutral target, it covers my options in case he switches into Scizor and Ninetales. So I decide, all right, that's my best lead. So I'm leading off with the Zapdos and Gengar again, and he leads off with Mega Manectric and the Rotom Wash. So this is a very interesting lead from his side. So I decided I wanted to go for a play and just sludge bomb the Manectric immediately, but at the same time I felt this would be very poor on my end, because he could just go for Snarl Electro Web turn 1. So yeah. Here I decide, you know what, we're gonna make the same play. He doesn't have anything to stop my Tailwind, so I'm gonna go for my Tailwind mode. So he goes for Latios. He goes for the Mega Evolution. Does not like Intimidate doesn't work, because it's like I'm special. My Pokemon special attacker. He's go for Snarl as expected, and I go for Tailwind. And here this is probably I'm gonna say this. Just like game one, game two, this is like a very huge turn because this is basically a 50-50. Whether or not I target down the Manectric or the Latios, and to be honest, this is like I was very concerned about the Latios because he had I think a while ago revealed they had Tailwind or so, or and I'm like I'm still worried about this Latios because he could threaten both my Gengar and my Zapdos, especially if Manectric protects. And I'm like, all right, so what's the best play I could go for? And I figured, okay, I might as well just go for damage onto the Latios, or or damage or Oko onto the Latios with Heat Wave to pick it off. So I decided to go for the Shadow Ball, but unfortunately, as you see, he goes for the Protect, and that's a good play on his end. And if I had Sludge Bomb the Manectric, this would have been a very momentous. And I do mean that, like, turn. But he gets the Snarl off, and that's huge, because now he's going to 2-hit kill me with the Snarl, with the Gengar, with the Manectric. Now my Gengar is weakened, and I can't do much. And Zapdos is not doing anything with the Heat Wave. He's snarling my Zapdos, and it's rendering it useless. And Gengar is, like, dead and down. He goes for Tailwind, and that's already a really good turn on his end. And here I decide, okay, I gotta get rid of this Manectric. And he goes into his Rotom, expecting Ice Punch. And I go into Politoed because I have to protect my Zapdos. And I gotta get rid of the stat reductions. He got the crit, which is very unfortunate on my end. And I am able to get rid of the Manectric here. But as you'll see, he's gonna get getting Crocodile. So I'm very much in a very bad spot. And I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So, here. I decide, you know what? Let's try this double switch. And try to get in Zapdos into Metagross and Kingdra into Politoed. Because Kingdra, even though my opponent has Tailwind, should still outspeed Crocodile and Rotom, since assuming that the Crocodile is very slow or whatever, or if I'm assuming if Crocodile is slow or so, and it doesn't want to take a water hit, so I'm also trying to bait out the Grandium Z in case he has it, so that's also a concern on my end. So here I switch out and go into Zapdos, and I make a double switch and go into Kingdra, and as you see, he goes for Crunch, doesn't get the static unfortunately, and he goes for Thunderbolt, and I'm like, oh great. So I'm rendered kind of useless with Kingdra, so I have to go for Muddy Water damage, and I get the accuracy drop from both Rotom and the Sizzle, which is huge. But he is able to connect with his Thunderbolt, so there's not much hacks going on there that I'm going with. So he just recovered with leftovers, and I got in my Zapdos and my Kingdra. And this is a very huge turn because I have to get in. I have to hope that Sizzler kind of misses his Bullet Punch here. So yeah. He is able to connect with Bullet Punch, which is unfortunate. However, it also means that when he has only one more life of hit, or Hail will just knock him out, so he misses with Electro Webs. I don't know if that matters too much, but it's like, eh. I go into Metagross, I'm like, alright, so I gotta get rid of the Rotom. He makes a good play, he goes for the Intimidate onto the Metagross so that Rotom can live another turn. The double target would have, if he not intimidated me, I would have been sure. He would have been sure. I would have been sure knocked out the Rotom, but the fact that I got intimidated means now that I'm kind of useless now. And yeah, Crocodile is able to live that, and Rotom doesn't because it's already weakened. Crocodile goes for Crunch, but it's just enough for me to get knocked out with the burn. So yeah, and this is already looking like a lost cause right now because at this point I'm like, I don't know what to do. So it looks like he's taken game 2, and I'm like, however, I'm not giving up. I get a crit, and I'm like, alright, that's cool. I honestly should have just Heat Waved here turn 1, because or not turn 1, but right now here, because I would have got damage onto Crocodile, and here I Protect. He goes for the Tailwind, and I go for Tailwind myself. It's probably weird that I should have, that I went for Tailwind there. I should have just went for the attack. So because like that would have helped that would ensure that I got rid of Crocodile like earlier, and it would have just been like Magnetar is strong enough or bulky enough to take on both like Scizor and Ninetales. So he's able to double target me with the combination of Psychic plus Earthquake, and I'm like, oh great. He goes for Psychic onto the Politoed just to weaken it down. And here, this is I got a Paralysis, and as I go for Scald, so let me pause here to explain what happened. Why this is important. The Paralysis here ensures that I'm faster. Well, he's still gonna. I don't know if he will be faster, but it would ensure that I'm faster than Latios, and with my Zapdos. I don't know with my Politoed, but still, it's a very momentous like turn because I could actually knock up Zapdos with the combination of Scald plus Thunderbolt or Heat Wave, maybe Dust Scald plus Thunderbolt. But at this point, I can't like I'm playing to my outs here because like Crocodile and you also all have to remember that Scizor is also at 5% HP, and Crocodile is at 16%, and Gladius is at 15%. So if he sends in Ninetales, like even if I am chipping him down with maybe 6% or 4% because of how low my Zapdos is with all the snarls, they're gonna get weakened down to the point where his own hail is gonna pick him off. So the only thing I'm very concerned about is the fact that Latios has Roost. So if he does have Roost, then he could potentially win this game. If he doesn't, with Latios, if he doesn't, then well, we'll see. Let's see. I go for Protect on the Politoed, and I go for Heat Wave on the Rain just to pick him off slowly. And here, he's just slowing. He's wearing me down. He goes for Snarl and Draco Meteor, and it activates my Aqua Berry. Now here, I kind of disagree with that play because if he was intending on knocking me out with Latios, he should have done it with Draco Meteor plus Crunch because that would have ensured that Latios goes down and the game is over. Since Latios and Ninetales can 1v1 the rest of my team. So, but the fact that Zapdos is alive now means that I can do whatever I want. Well, I can't do whatever I want, but I have to play this very carefully. So here I decide to attack the Latios slot, and I go for Tailwind here, and he goes for Snarl again, and I'm like, okay, why is he not attacking me? I thought he was gonna go for Earthquake just to pick off Politoed, and I go for Scald and I kill the Scizor. And that's very important because he sends in Ninetales, and it might seem very bad because oh great, Ninetales can Blizzard and Freeze Dry you or whatever, but recall that I have Tailwind set up here. I have 3 turns of Tailwind. Yes, my Politoed is at -1. My Zapdos is at -2. But with the hail damage, from Crocodile, I could hopefully pick it off with Heat Wave. And then I could hopefully pick it off with Heat Wave with Zapdos. And then have but that's also risking Politoed as well. So, but at this point, I'm kind of forced to make some plays somewhat. But I have to attack Ninetales at this point, so and hope that he doesn't knock me out with any of us. The combination of either Freeze Dry or Blizzard. So yeah, and I also have to hope that he kind of messes up as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna explain these turns how it goes. He goes for Protect on Crocodile, which is a very peculiar play, which I don't know. I go for Heat Wave and I go for Scald. I get 39% on the Ninetales. He goes for Freeze Dry. It doesn't kill Politoed, thankfully, and I get activate my Aqua Berry, which is very huge. And as you see, the hail is starting to wear down the Crocodile to the point where Heat Wave will knock it out, no matter how many boosts I got or whatever. That was a huge turn, to be honest, because the fact that Ninetales didn't kill Politoed and it activated my Aqua Berry, and the fact that he protected with Crocodile to wear himself down to Heat Wave meant that the Snarls were irrelevant now. All I have to do is just click Heat Wave again to chip the Ninetales and then go for Scald with Politoed. And hopefully get the burn. so that maybe if it comes down to it late game, it's gonna be me versus Ninetales, and I just go for Roost. I'm gonna have to Roost stall my way out of this. So yeah. But again, this is asking a lot. So here I go for the Heat Wave, and I knock out the Crocodile, and it's huge. And I go for Scald, no burn, unfortunately. However, he goes for Aurora Veil, and that is the break I needed for this game. Because I still have one turn of Tailwind left. It says two, but I have one more. Aurora Veil doesn't matter. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but that was the play I needed to make, or that was the turn where I needed him to mess up, because he should have just attacked Politoed or the Zapdos, because or even Zapdos, because Hail is still picking me off as well, and Zapdos and Politoed with any damage plus Hail should knock out Politoed or Zapdos, but instead he goes for Aurora Veil. I'm already reduced to I'm not doing anything at all, so I'm just saying. And in fact, he goes for this is just a huge break, because the thing is, I do have Encore on Politoed, and if there is a target I'm going to Encore, I am definitely going to Encore the Ninetales now, because I'm faster than it in Tailwind, and Latios is still alive, but it has to attack me now. It has to attack me right now, because with Draco Meteor to have a chance at this game. So no matter what, I'm gonna go for an Encore onto the Ninetales. And once Latios goes in, I'm gonna have to Roost stall my way out of this. I'm gonna Roost stall with the Ninetales at this point. So, and hope that Politoed somehow lives. Well, okay, the end game I'm trying to think of, how I'm saying, is I'm gonna have to try to Encore the Ninetales, so it's stuck into Aurora Veil for the next 4 turns, and then Latios has 2 turns at least, or maybe 3 if Showdown's lying to me with percentages, to attack me. So at this point, this is still winnable. And he goes for Protect, and I'm like, whoa. I go for the Roost, I get the free health, and I go for Encore. He was trying to attack me. I'm very surprised he didn't go for Protect there, because at that point I would have just if he had protected there, he probably would have won the game. But the fact that he didn't and just attempted to attack me was just huge, because that turn was pretty much game deciding turn, because as you see, he's gonna go for Aurora Veil, but he's gonna be stuck for the next 4 turns with me. And he's going to get damage onto the Latios with Hail. So now Ninetales is not doing anything. And Heat Wave just puts it within range of Hail to knock out Latios. And I'm just trying to pick off the Ninetales, and he gets paralyzed, unfortunately. So I'm going to be honest here. That was a very unfortunate paralysis onto the Latios. But to be honest, it really didn't matter, because if you think about it, he protected, so he chose to protect there. And had he, I honestly think had Latios not protected there and that turn, I think he would have won. He would have won with just Draco Meteoring the Politoed. But he let me Encore, Ninetales, which renders it useless. And as you'll see, Latios dies to Hail. And any combination of my own hits, either Skull or Thunderbolt, would just knock out the Ninetales. So I don't know how the hell I won this game. It's good. I'll say that was a good game to Sam. That was a very tense matchup. Honestly, I don't know. The fact that I'm kind of scrambling my words right now is just how tense this game was. Really, I was kind of nervous the whole time, okay, this is gonna come down to game 3, but for some reason I was able to pull it out, with my last 2 mons, especially this game. I honestly thought I lost game 2, but I won. So game 1, I think it was still a really bad situation. It's just that like Metagross was able to like I just so happened to weaken everything that so that Metagross just goes like on its sweep. It's and its mini rampage though, and just like pick off like the Ninetales, Latios, and the Scizor. And getting that kill on the Rotom was massive because it prevented him from burning me turn one. In this game, I like again the 50-50. I lost that 50-50, but I think I played predictably as well. We both kind of played kind of bad, I guess you could say. Like I'll admit he outprepped me, but at the end of the day, and it's kind of outplayed me in some ways. But at the end of the day, like I think all he had to do was just attack. Or that's like if I had to say anything about like my only critique about this battle for Sam is like he should have like really attacked me at any point of the other aside the encore because I heard Orville. So because like Orville wasn't like doing anything for him really. Like I'm already reduced to like not doing any damage and like because of the snarls and Orville didn't really help him out. In fact, it just helped me out just to prevent Ninetales from just doing any damage at all and rendering it useless. And Latios, the paralysis on the Latios was very unfortunate. But I think if he had knocked, okay, here's the thing: if he knocks me out there, I 100% go after the Latios. I 100% go after Latios and just attempt to damage, kill it off, and then like as you saw, like Heat Wave plus Scald should have knocked out Ninetales. That's from that range it was, but I missed the Heat Wave. I guess you could say it was a little bit of justice from me, like, but then again, that was kind of cruel justice if you think about it, because like Heat Wave, because like that Furhax was really did matter towards the end, but the point is, I'm trying to say is, I would have had one Pokemon left to deal with the Latios or the Ninetales, and I think like Politoed would have or that Zapdos would have been able to like win that game had he like, and it just goes all goes back to that turn where like he just Orville's. Like I just don't know why he like went for that. Like that gave me the turn. That gave me my opportunity to lock him in, prevent him from doing anything when he had to do, and help Zapdos get free HP and like stick around for the late game. Politoed did. If I had to say who the MVP was for this game, I would say like Zapdos, Politoed, and Metagross. Like those three, like Politoed getting that encore onto the Ninetales was huge. Like Metagross getting 5 kills in this game was really good. I think I wasn't able to do it justice when it just for this game, since like I really pressed for this game with like thinking that like Metagross could just get like, if I could pick off X, Y mons, like such as like Crocodile and like Metatrick and Rotom, then it goes ham. And I did exactly that. But like he was able to counteract with like Intimidate support, Wisp, and his bulk, overall bulk. So yeah, like Sam was able to play accordingly. So yeah, like the only thing I would say this battle is that is the fact that like I definitely need to prep more in this game. I kind of went off with a team that I've built like early on, like week I think early, like by the time I had like my battle with week 2, I just like I made a copy or made a team that like identity build for this team, and I just went with that and went from there. Just had Rain, had Metagross, like Gengar, Zapdos, all this, like pretty much the same 5 mons. I just slapped the Magmortar in for like redirection support, but as you saw, that was very bad since he was able to snarl spam me down. So yeah. All right, so I'm probably getting ahead of myself. That was a very tense game from like Sam. So good game from Sam, and we'll be featuring another battle very soon. So hopefully. I'll see y'all in week 4, so see ya.